Hi everyone, in this video we are going to talk about percentage, what you need to know, and we're going to solve some word problems involving percentage. So the first thing you need to know is expressing a part of a whole as a percentage. So what does it mean? Just simply, let's say you have 10 apples. Okay, and if let's say 8 are red, then the question asks what percentage of the apples are red. Right, so what you need to do first is very simple. Okay, so let's write down so it's clear. What percentage of the apples are red? Alright, there are a few ways to do. Some students like to do something like this. 10 apples is 100%. Okay, and then they like to find one apple. Alright, they take 100%, divide by 10. That will give you 10. And then 8 apples is 8 times 10 equals to 80. Now, I do not favor this method for a few reasons. It's confusing for some, in fact for a lot. They're not sure what to write. Is it 10 apples is 100%, or sometimes they write 100% is 10. Okay, and sometimes they confuse which numbers is divided by which number. Alright, for example, it happens usually if, let's say, the numbers are larger. For example, let's say we have 2000 is 100%, and when they want to find 1, what they do is they usually will take the larger number, divide by the smaller number, and then when they divide they say, oh, 1 is 20%, which is wrong. If you favor this method, you just need to remember one simple rule. Okay, what's the rule? The rule is after you write this down, okay, you want to find 1. This, sorry, it's not 1000%. Okay, this number here, okay, this is something important actually. It doesn't just apply in percentage questions. It also, okay, you also use this in other unit questions. Okay, so what happened here, this number that you've written down, you have to write it down again quickly before you forget, okay, and make a mistake by writing down the 2000 first. So this number again, this number, just transfer it down, then you divide by this number. Okay, this way you can possibly eliminate some careless mistakes. Okay, so what do I do here? My preferred way is to change it to a fraction first. I'm looking for red apples, so that will be my numerator. Denominator is my total. My total is 10. And when I want to change a percentage, a fraction to a percentage, all I do is times 100. Okay, and I simplify first. 8 times 10 is 80. So that's the answer, 80% of the apples are red apples. Okay, that brings us to this part here. Okay, representing fraction as a percentage here. Okay, representing percentage as a fraction and fraction as a percentage. Now, we've already learned how to change from a fraction to a percentage. Okay, by multiplying 100. To change from a percentage to a fraction is much simpler. All you need to do is just give it a denominator of 100, and then you simplify. There you go, you get the answer. Okay, again, to change from a fraction to a percentage, you multiply by 100. But to change from a percentage to a fraction, just give it a denominator of 100. Usually students have no problem with this part here. Okay, some of them will have a problem here. And it's also the same method to change, okay, from a decimal to a percentage. The same method. And what's that? Multiply by 100. For example, you have 0.2. You want to change to a percentage. All you need to do is take 0.2 times 100 and you will get 20%. Alright, straightforward. And if you want to do the opposite, if you have, let's say, 30%, you want to change to a decimal, first thing you must do is change it to, okay, maybe we don't do it that way. Maybe we'll just do the simpler way. Okay, there's more than one way to do this. You just do the opposite. Instead of multiply, now you take 30 divide by 100 and that will give you, you move the decimal 2 points because there's 2 0, so you get 0.3. Okay, you don't need to put the 0 behind. Alright, so it's just 0.3. So this is how you convert from a percentage to a decimal. Again, okay, there's no space. I'll just show you here. 0.4. Okay, let's not take 0.4. Let's take something else. Okay, let's take 2.4. Alright, you want to change to a percentage first, right? So what you need to do is, you want to change to a percentage, all you need to do is multiply by 100. So remember, whether it's a fraction or a decimal, you want to change to a percentage, you just times 100 and you shift the decimal point twice. And you see there's an empty space here. So it's 240%. Alright. And if you want to change the percentage back to decimal, you do the opposite. So let's say we have 4.5%. You want to change to decimal. Okay, it's 4.5 divided by 100. You shift twice, 1, 2. There's a space, you put a 0 there. So it's 0.045. Alright, so that's all you need to do. So remember this carefully. Okay, now the next part here is addressing this issue again, expressing a part of a whole as a percentage. So this is the whole. Okay, 16 rectangles. What percentage? So we want the shaded part. That's why it's called part of a whole. The whole thing is 16 and we want only the shaded part. And how many shaded part? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shaded parts. So as we have done before, my preferred way is make it into a fraction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Numerator 5, denominator is 16, and all we need to do is multiply by 100. That's all. Okay, what percentage is shaded? Okay, for this I will just use a calculator. Okay, and 31.25. That's all. 31.25. Next, the figure is made up of identical triangles. How many more triangles must be shaded such that 75% of the figure is shaded? Okay, this is slightly different. We need to know 75% as a fraction, because now we have again something like a fraction. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 total parts. How many shaded? 1, 2, 3 shaded. Alright, so we want 75% of the figure shaded. Okay, we can do it in a simpler way. Okay, we will do this from English to maths. I think we've done this before in one of our videos on fraction. Okay, so this is a very useful technique. So we'll write down here 75% of the figure. Okay, 75% is already maths, but it's in percentage. We're going to change it to fraction first. Okay, of is multiply, the figure is 12. Okay, the total figure. So we have 75 divided by 100 times 12, that's 9. So if we want 75% of the figure shaded, we need to shade 9. We have 3. So we need how many more? 9 minus 3. We need 6 more. Okay, so basically this is how we solve this question. Again, 75% of the figure. This is like a mixture of maths and English. What we're going to change everything to maths. 75% is 75 over 100 times the whole figure, which is 12. And we know we need 9 shaded triangles, and we already have 3. So 9 minus 3 equals 6. Next question. There are 1,280 students in the school. 60% of the students are boys. How many girls are there? Again, mixture of maths and English. We're going to change everything to maths. You can do it like how I'm going to do here first, or I will show you another method after this. It's basically almost the same. Okay. Now, I just need you to remember, when you do 60% of the students, what do you get? You get boys. Okay, because they say here 60% of the students are boys. So we'll change this to maths. Again, change to fraction. Always remember, change to fraction, and of is multiply. And what's the number of students? 1,280. Okay, again we will use our calculator. Alright, and we get 768. These are the boys. That's why I put it inside the bracket. So our last step is to subtract. Okay, so we have 1,280 minus 768, 512 girls. Now, what about the other method? The other method is you minus from the percentage first. Since 60% are boys, we know 40% are girls. Okay, 40% are girls. And then we do the English to maths. Okay, 40% is 40 over 100. Of is times, and the students is 1,280. Okay, just to make sure we did not make any mistake, I will do the full calculation. And yes, we get the same number, 512. Okay, next is exactly the same. 350 participants at the coding workshop. 30% are girls and the remaining are boys. How many boys? My preferred way is, of course, to subtract the percentage first. So I have 70% boys. Okay, so the working is 70 over 100 times the total participants. Okay, so 70 divided by 100 multiplied by 350, 245. Okay, quite straightforward. Next question. 95 girls and 65 boys participated in an international art competition. 40% of the person are Singaporeans. How many Singaporeans participated? Okay, this is simply the same thing again. Alright, so 40% of participants. Okay, so this time around I'll write it full again for revision's sake. Okay, these are Singaporeans. Now, this is English, change to maths. Of is times, participants is the total here. So we'll just total it up using calculator. 95 plus 65 is 160. And when we do this, remember we'll get Singaporean. So there's no need for us to do any subtraction for this question. Okay, so it's important to understand what you get when you do this multiplication. So 64 of them are Singaporeans. Alright. Next question. Okay, now before we do this kind of questions, okay, we go back to this part here. You need to know discount, GST and interest. Now, there's 3 here, and the only time you subtract is if you do discount. If you are to calculate the GST, you have to add. If you are to calculate interest, you are also supposed to add. Only if you are doing discount, then you minus or you subtract. So let's take a look at the question. Celine has 800 in her savings account. She earns 2.5% interest. Find the amount of interest Celine gets after 1 year. So the same thing again. Some student, they prefer 100% is 800. 1% is 800 divided by 100, which is equals to 8. So they start to find 2.5%. Okay, so this is 2.5. Nothing wrong with this method at all if you are comfortable. And just make sure you remember what I said. This number, transfer it down straight away. Okay, so 2.5% is 20, and be careful what they ask you to find. Here they ask you to find the amounts of interest only, not the total. Okay, if you look at the second question here, you will see it's an interest question, but the question will ask how much did he have in his bank, not just the interest. Okay, my preferred way, alright, okay, but since this one is a decimal, okay, so what we can do again, if this is a calculator question, it's quite simple. 25%, okay, of her savings. Okay, it didn't say here, but it's understood it's of her savings. So it will be 2.5, not 25. I think I said 25 just now, but it's 2.5 over 100. We change it to fraction. Don't worry about the decimal, since you can use calculator anyway. Okay, times 800. So if you punch in the numbers, okay, what do you get? You get $20 also. Same answer. Up to you, which one you prefer. Okay, this is the one we're talking about. Be careful about the final part of the question, what they want you to find. So Mr. Smith had 95,000 in his bank account. The bank paid 3% interest at the end of each year. He did not withdraw any money from his account. How much money did he have in his bank at the end of the year? So this is not just the interest, this is just this is the total. We'll do the first method again. Okay, because most students prefer this method. I'm not sure, is it because they are taught this method in school? Okay, or it's just that when they are taught both methods, they prefer this method overall. Okay, so 1% is 950 and he's paid 3% interest. So 3% is simply 3 times 950. Okay, let's write that properly. We don't want to confuse ourselves. Okay, so we have 3 times 950. That gives us 2,850. Okay, and then the last step, since we want the total, we need to do the addition. And the addition will be 95,000 plus 2,850. Okay, so 95,000. So we have 97,850. This is our answer. Okay, if we do my preferred method, this will be 3%, which will be 3 over 100 times 95,000. Okay, we will get the interest 3% straight away. 3 divided by 100 times 95,000 1000, that will be 2850, which is the same as this. And then we just need to do the last step here. I don't need to do, because we already done it. We just need to do the addition and we get it. Now, okay, we'll just stick to these two methods first. Next, Mrs. Raju bought a 5-meter ribbon. She used 35% of the ribbon. Okay, so this is again from English to maths. Later we will write it down in our working. The length of ribbon used to tie each box was the same. What was the length of the ribbon used to tie each box? So we need to find how much she used to tie 5 boxes, and that's 35%. So from English, 35%. Okay, we change the percentage to fraction first. Of is simply multiply by the ribbon, which is 5. So 35 divided by 100 times 5, that gives us 1.75. And remember, this is for 5 boxes. We want for each box. So 1.75 divided by 5. Okay, divided by 5 give us 0.35 meters. That's the answer. Okay, we have a few more questions to go, which we will do in the next part. We will talk about discount and GST. Okay, so again, thank you very much for watching. If you find these videos beneficial, please do consider subscribing, because it will really help the channel grow, so that we can help more people along the way. Okay, thank you very much. Until the next video.